Alright guys, so for those who care, we're going to be talking about my new this is a project that I'm working on, and I guess it's done, but I'll be adding to it as I go along. And I'm calling it the Doom Raid ISO Planner, Character Planner Spreadsheet, because I have nothing better to do with my time than to talk and do spreadsheets. Now, obviously, I'm not the best designer when it comes to color, so my apologies. But I do want to bring this up and share it with you guys and see what you guys think. Feel free to add in the chat as well. This might be going up on YouTube, so on another video that I'll probably rip out later. So if you guys want to chime in, feel free to do so. And I have it here. So this is called my Doom Raid ISO planning spreadsheet here. Now this is something that I kind of worked on for my alliance, but it's also something that I will be kind of doing a bit more broadly. Now, basically, I just broke down each of the main characters that you're going to be wanting to use and build up for Doom Raid. These are what I think are some of the best characters, or in some cases the only characters that you can really use in Doom Raid. And it's kind of funny to see sort of what the options are, or lack thereof in some cases, and what classes they are. So I don't know if you guys watched one of my videos from before. I discussed how many what classes I did a character class breakdown, and basically controllers and support are some of the highest amount of classes in most of the Doom Raid that you're going to be running. There's about 2.5 to 3 times as many controllers and support characters that you need to build for ISO 4 or 5 than there are protectors, blasters, and brawlers. So you can see right here in tech alone, there's no protectors and brawlers, and there's just blasters. So these 5 here are what I believe to be the best characters for the tech lane. Other people can fight me on that one. But if you don't have Doom, then obviously you'll have to compensate either with Ultron or Ghost. A lot of people have Ghost built up anyways, so this is very a likely candidate here. I don't know if this really matters, the rank here. Either way, if you don't have Doom, you're going to be running one of these two, and that's really it. But once you do get Doom, you'll be running these 5. I think these are the best. People ask me, is Shuri still worth building? And for the purposes of Doom Raid, I think she is, at least to Gear Tier 14. You don't need to take her up to Gear Tier 15 for Dark Dimension 4, Legendary, or anything like this. But a lot of the characters that you'll see in here are characters that are going to be valid across both modes. So that's good, because a lot of people, want to sort of cross... I was going to say cross-pollinate. Cross-build for both things, for Doom Raid and Dark Dimension 4. And a lot of these are. Kestrel is very popular. Doom, is the reward, obviously. But Minerva is still really popular. Doc Ock, obviously, really important. And Shuri's the only one here who isn't as much. That's why you could add in Ghost if you really want to. But I think Shuri is still really important for the tech lane in Doom Raid because of the defense up that she gives very early on, because she spawns with speed up. So this sort of defensive mitigation. Nobody else really has that. Doc Ock has regen. Minerva has, healing and health steal and reviving, but no defense up buffs. And so Shuri would be giving that to everyone else. Some ability energy as well, and some extra healing. So that makes her very important still. Ghost, her damage just isn't enough in raids comparatively to someone like Dr. Doom. So that's why she just gets dumped as soon as Dr. Doom comes along and you finish Dark Dimension 4. Dr. Doom is going to be someone that you're going to want for this. Now, in terms of ISO classes, I haven't done any math when it comes to, how much you're going to need for 4 and 5 for each lane. This is really going to vary depending on which lanes you're in, because if you're on the left, middle, or the right section, will dictate whether or not you're in a level 4 lane or a level 5 lane for these. Like for me, I'm running the right-hand side now, which is Mutant, Bio, Skill, Tech, Mystic. So for those 3 of Skill, Tech, and Mystic, I need a level 5. So for me, I need more of these from the Tech. And right now, I only have Dr. Doom and Kestrel at level 5. Anyways, but you can see here, Dr. Doom is Controller, Kestrel is Blaster, and Minerva, Doc Ock, and Shuri are all support. So in terms of level 5 ISO, I got these all at level 4. I don't have them at level 5. Doc Ock is going to be my next one. And if you guys watch my live stream or my footage, then you would have seen me wreck. I actually duoed Kestrel and Dr. Doom for the first tech node, which was a lot of fun. Now, I'm wondering, you know, could I 3-man the second node? Maybe not the boss, but could I 3-man the second node if I had, like, Doc Ock? If I threw Doc Ock once I get him online with level 5 ISO, how much can I min-max before I need all 5 of them to go? I probably need all 5 of them to clear the boss node, but I'm just wondering how much can I do with just minimal effort. And I don't know, but I know that I can duo the first node, and that's what's important. So let's move on to Mystic. Again, we have Dr. Doom. He doubles over both the Mystic and the Tech node, and that's great because that maximizes your ISO usage. So that's still, even though a lot of people are crying about Dr. Doom being invalid, he's still really, really good when it comes to Doom Raid. He is the top sort of PvE character. He's still really good at PvE. Maybe less so in PvP with Arena and RTA or whatever you want. He's still a really solid character though. And so he is the top Mystic character alongside the usual suspects here: Silver Surfer, Hela, Ebony Maw, and Thanos. Now, I think when Adam Warlock comes out, he, for me anyways, most likely will be dumping Thanos. And this kind of makes me sad a bit because I do have a 7 red Thanos. But outside of his empowered form, he's a quasi-tank. You don't necessarily need his tanking potential, but, you know, I do have a 7 red, so it's quite strong, but I do think he's going to get dumped. Now, in terms of the ISOs that you're going to want to use for these characters, obviously, Dr. Doom's a controller still. Hela's a controller. We do have a blaster, another blaster with Silver Surfer, and Thanos, if you're using him, is a protector. Ebony Maw, support. Adam Warlock also supports. So if you are thinking about getting Adam Warlock, you think you might get Adam Warlock, then this is something that you're going to need to look at and maybe plan ahead with your ISO farming, because like I said at the start, there is a lot of controllers and support in terms of ISOs that you're going to need to farm, whether it's at the level 4 or level 5 level. And these are sort of leftover characters. I don't know, if you happen to have geared them up really high, you know, you could probably put them here in Thanos' spot. I honestly think that these top 4 here, they're not really character slots that you can really play around with too much. If you don't have Doom, of course, though, that kind of leaves these 4, and so there is a leftover spot, and you might need to use one of these 3. I was going to consider that guy, and for you guys who know why I say that guy, because it's a name that I don't want to use because of my dog's name, that is something that I did very early on in Doom Raid, but I could have added it here with the rest of these, but they're what I call leftover characters. These are like literally if you have to. You don't have Dr. Doom. These are characters, but because ISOs are required at level 4 and level 5, I just don't know how much I can suggest. I don't know how much I can suggest these characters to build them up to 4 or 5, unless you already have them there. But if you don't, I really wouldn't consider dumping your ISOs into them. And hey, Colonel Hurtbomb, you know, the chat can make you aware of my dog's name. There's a reason why I don't want to say it. And so these are all brawlers, though. These leftover characters are all brawlers, though. And so this is a bit of an... Maybe it's not so much of an issue, but maybe you don't want to do that. So let's move on to Mutant. This is really easy, but there is something else that we need to talk about. So obviously, these top 5, they're Astonishing X-Men. No surprises there. These are the most important team, the most important mutant characters to use for the first 2 nodes, or first node and boss node if you're on the right-hand side. So if you're on the left or the middle, you're going to need these guys at level 5 ISO, I believe, and they are going to be the main team that you're going to be using. Now, on the right-hand side, and I've separated from left, middle, right. On the right-hand side, there's only 1 node of mutant, and that's the Red Guardian, Bishop, that kind of stuff. And then there's a new boss node. So that boss node for the right-hand side of Doom Raid is different than the one on the left in the middle. Now, why this is important is we're going to get down to that. So these ISOs are, again, 2 controllers, 1 blaster, 1 protector, 1 support. Again, lots of controllers. Controllers show up quite frequently. Let's talk about the boss node before we go down to bio. If you guys have run the boss node in the middle section, if you guys did the all-middle strategy in the past, you would know that the boss node is kind of challenging and uses a weird Dad Bros combo. So you clone Longshot, you have your own Dad Bros, and basically the speed bar just is infinite there. But why this is a bit of an issue is because, hey, if you're running those nodes, you're going to need them at level 5 ISO as well. So I don't know. Please let me know in the comments down below This is viable with some Astonishing X-Men characters, or if the Astonishing X-Men can clear the boss node. I heard this is really, really hard with Astonishing X-Men on that boss node because of how many characters are in it, how long it is, that normally it's just easier to use the sort of cloning of the long shot and the infinite turn bar on X Factor. So again, the problem with this is that you're going to need them at level 5 ISO. You don't need these characters, any of these guys, if you're running on the right hand side. Right is that way. Okay, I forget which way. The right hand side, because the boss node is different in that case. So this refers to the middle and the left hand boss node, where you typically clone long shot, get the train rolling with the speed bar, and it's just kind of like infinite feedback, infinite loop there with long shot and Shatterstar. Normally when I ran it pre-update, I was running Sinister, Emmerfrost, long shot, Shatterstar, and Phoenix. But now, of course, this is a different consideration with the ISO requirements. So yes, if you've done this since the update, or you've done this with a different combination, or if you've cleared it with Astonishing X-Men, please let me know in the comments below, because that would be very helpful to know sort of maybe if they are viable with the Astonishing X-Men to beat that boss, how high do they need to be? I don't know. But previously when I've cleared it, I've done it with the cloning thing with Longshot and X Factor. But you're going to need them at level 5 ISO, and that's a problem. So this adds more issues, because this would technically be up to 9 characters that you might need to have at level 5 ISO if you're on the left or middle side, and that's a lot of mutant ISOs, unfortunately. Moving on to Bio, this is very simple. This isn't going to take very long at all. It's the symbiotes, right? You know, these are the top 5. Okay, I think the first couple of nodes in the Bio, the non-boss node, might be doable with non-symbiotes, but I really do not think that you could find a good combination of characters that are able to clear the Bio boss node, which in my opinion is the hardest boss node, the hardest node in Doom Raid, frankly. You know, I've done it a couple times now since the update. It's very hard. I haven't been able to one-shot it. I've talked to other content creators on the Marvel Strike Force Discord and around, and they haven't been able to one-shot it really either, from what I understand, or it's extremely, extremely hard. Anyways, the amount of ISOs you need, you have two controllers here with Scream and Venom. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Anti-Venom, Symbiote Spider-Man, sorry, being a brawler, Carnage being a brawler, and Anti-Venom being support. So again, you see a lot of controllers. Controllers pop up quite frequently again. I don't think that Yo-Yo really does any... I don't know anyone who's even used an Inhuman combo to clear the boss node, and so because it requires level 4 or level 5 ISOs, depending on which lane you're in, I don't know if I could reasonably suggest this as an alternative. I really do not see any good alternatives to the symbiotes yet. I think that down the line we will see character releases that might create a new hybrid team, perhaps. Something that you can do alternatively, some really powerful bio characters that might be coming out. I don't think Phyla-Vell is one of those, especially not standalone. She does not do it enough. But there might be some other bio characters down in future patches that might, who knows, you know, give them a run for their money. But nothing yet, in my opinion. Let me know if you guys have a different opinion. Let me know if you have something else that works for you guys on these bio nodes. Like I said, I think the first bio node, not really a big problem. The second one's a little bit harder. That one is with Hela and Greg, and you really need to sort of take advantage of that with the symbiotes. The third, aka the bio boss node, very, very challenging. And this is in regards to the middle and right lane for the bio boss node. The left bio boss node is different, so different lanes sometimes have different boss nodes. The ones at the start are different than future ones, so just wanted to point that out as well. So moving on to skill. Now this is the most flexible one here, and so these are what I think are the main 3 that you need to have. I put top 3, not top 5, because there's a lot of flexibility, and this might vary depending on who you've geared up for Dark Dimension, who you're planning on gearing up for Dark Dimension, or other characters that you might have built up for other reasons, I suppose. So at a bare minimum, obviously Kestrel has to appear here. She's like top 1. She is the main one, and she carries it. Realistically, Kestrel, you know, could really just almost solo that first node. But on top of that, I really think that Night Nurse and Red Guardian, you know, Red Guardian being the tank, Night Nurse being your healer, I think for now these are what needs to happen. And so we have Kestrel as a blaster, obviously, if you would have already done that from the tech, Night Nurse being support, and Red Guardian being protector. Now, there's a bunch of alternatives that I've listed here because this might vary. For me, I'm using Proximus and Corvus, because that's who I have built up from my Black Order days. I had them at level 5 ISO already because of my arena. So these are the 5 that I'm using personally: Proxima, Corvus, Kestrel, Night Nurse, and Red Guardian. However, before the update, I did, instead of using Corvus, I was using Baron Zemo. But my Zemo is only level 4 ISO, not 5. So if you are in a skill lane that requires level 5 ISO, then obviously this will be a different consideration than if you're running level 4. Now, the right-hand side and the middle, because skill is at the very end of the middle, that's going to be a level 5 consideration for you. If you're running on the left-hand side, that's going to be a level 4 consideration for you. So that's a little bit easier. The level 4 entry barrier is easier than the level 5, which requires 3 times as many ISO crystals, and probably ions as well, than level 4. Other characters that are coming soon, you may have seen my video about Captain Sam. He's in the data mines for, well, I'm calling him Captain Sam for now, Captain America Falcon, Captain America Sam, whatever. You know, he is coming soon, or coming eventually. I don't know when. He is an alternative tank to Red Guardian if you're, let's say, not in the running for Doom Raid yet. Maybe I would hold off from doing Red Guardian if you're not going to get to Doom Raid anytime soon. And if this guy comes out and replaces Red Guardian in that sense, then that gives you time. But if you're in Doom Raid now, or getting into Doom Raid now, Red Guardian is still someone that you're going to need to raise now, because there really isn't an alternative to him at the moment. Not really an alternative. Okay, I said there's not really an alternative to Night Nurse. There is Moondragon, also coming soon, even though you can unlock her as of this video, but there's no res stars for her yet. And also, I think that you can actually run Moondragon and Night Nurse together. I think there is a good argument to be made to have both Night Nurse and Moondragon, because Night Nurse can cleanse on her special. Moondragon heals quite a bit, but she doesn't actually cleanse. So sometimes cleansing is important in certain node, the second node and the boss node. This is still kind of important from time to time, and Moondragon synergizes very well with Kestrel. So I think my ultimate plan will be to replace Corvus with Moondragon. And I think that's my current plan. I'll probably keep Proxima because I obviously already have her at level 5, but I think Moondragon, when I'm able to, will be my next replacement. Now, there are some other alternatives here, though, that I have listed, just in case you have them ISO'd up. Gamora here, you know, we talked about this earlier on in my live stream, but you wouldn't run Gamora standalone, and you would have to run Gamora with Moondragon, in my opinion. But when it comes to getting her into her empowered form, I think it's going to be a bit slower because there's less Infinity Watch members. So turn 3 it might be by the time that she gets her empowered form, and that might be a bit late into the match. A lot of the raid, especially the non-boss nodes, are going to be done before you even get that far along, so she might not actually make a ton of use in raids. I don't know. I haven't done it myself. If any of you guys have, let me know how it worked for you guys, and if you could recommend it. Put that in the comments down below as well if you've run Gamora in the skill lane. And it's good, I don't know. Taskmaster, Nick Fury, and Black Widow. These are all additional characters that people might have at ISO 4 or 5 for whatever reason. You know, Nick Fury, maybe you took him into the Dark Dimension 4 lane. He does have a little bit of synergy with Kestrel. He is a support character as well. Might be valid there. Taskmaster, some people have really big Taskmasters. I don't. But other people might might have T14'd them in the past, use them in Dark Dimension 3, you know, things like that. So if you do have them and you have them at 4+ ISO, that could be a consideration for that sort of 4th and 5th spot where there are alternatives there. Black Widow actually isn't too bad either because she does synergize now with Red Guardian since the Skilletary rework, so I did want to give a nod to that as well. She's actually not bad as far as support goes, even though she's a controller character. She does have speed up and she stuns, and so she's actually not too bad there. So I would consider Black Widow if you also have her at level 4 or 5 ISO, but I don't, so that's why I'm not using her. She's also at tier 12 for me, so I don't want to put any more resources into her than I need to, but she is a valid choice there. And so as you can see, you know, the skill lane does have the most alternatives. Is actually the easiest in my opinion. I've run it a handful of times, and I think it's by far the easiest lane in the Doom Raid compared to some of the other ones. I actually think that the bio is the hardest, and skill is the easiest. After that, Mutant is kind of challenging only because of the required characters that you need. Not everyone has Jubilee since she hasn't come back for her second pass yet, making Astonishing X-Men basically impossible, so that's tough there. And Mystic, actually, Tech's probably easier than Mystic, so yeah, I don't know. How would I rate it? Bio hardest, skill easiest, Mutant second hardest, Mystic third hardest, and Tech second easiest. That was a weird ranking. Anyways, so this is my Doom Raid ISO planner. I do plan on updating this as we go along. As new characters come out, you know, I will be adding characters to the list, dropping people down, trying to keep people, giving people a good idea, sort of the characters that you should be working on for your Doom Raid, and give you a good idea or an overview of who is available and potential alternatives that could work, although maybe not the most ideal, but just so you guys are aware of the kind of other characters that could be used. Now, I did consider a wider variety of characters, but, you know, let me know if you think I missed someone, but I think that this does cover the majority of the characters that are what I think are viable for Doom Raid. All here, like I said, Skill has the most selection here, and you can see their classes here, and this is just kind of for me, for my alliance, just, oh, that's not centered. That's kind of an OCD thing of mine. Is it bolded? No, it's not bolded. Kind of OCD of me. Anyways, this is just kind of to give people an idea of where you should be farming all of your class ISOs and how many you need to do and for what lane. So I hope this helps, guys. I will make this available in the description of the video below. Let me know what you think. I hope this was helpful, and if it was, please smash that like button and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And of course, till next time, or next spreadsheet, stay safe and I'll see y'all later. Boylon signing out.